introduction. I think the topic is clear, what we're talking about, because we are confronted, as Maria has already said, with all sorts of strange information. I can understand why there is political information out there, or why the crisis is used for political purposes. What I fail to understand is why there are also messages out there on medicine, on fake cures to the coronavirus, and all these very dangerous things. We've already seen cases, people are sort of following these very strange recipes and advice that you find on YouTube and on other social media. And therefore, I'm also glad from a European perspective that we are having an agreement now with the big social media providers, the platforms, I mean, like Google and Facebook and Twitter, to make sure that information is being checked.
What are your plans to change or fix the negative perceptions among the young people within the frame of your public diplomacy and cultural policy?
Look, I mean, we are all concerned about this negative perception, and we are trying, first of all, to analyze where does it come from. So you have a number of sites, and you have a number of sources that are related to Russia, that are putting out messages, basically saying the European Union is collapsing, the European Union hasn't done anything, and so on. And we're coming out with counter messages that have partly to do with the political messages, but also, as I said before, these myths or urban myths about how to fight the pandemic or the disease, or how to cure yourself. Then there's something that's far more difficult to work on. This is the impression that people are getting, the ones that basically were part of your first question, the impression that very little has been done, very little has been done when it comes to the countries that are most affected. I think here the only thing that helps is facts. Countries are sending doctors, medical teams, countries are sending protective gears where it is needed to show that this very first negative impression that there is no solidarity among the members, that is wrong. This is the only way, that you need to put hard facts on the table, and you need to show the positive impact of what we are doing. This will convince people, nothing else will convince people.
Christian's absolutely right. We have the facts at our disposal. In fact, I have here 6 pages of briefing on what the EU has done for Ireland alone in this crisis. So you have this notion the EU is not helping. We can give you a whole load of statistics. Would you ever bother reading those? Or how would you like to get your information that, would make you understand or be interested in the answer?
So maybe numbers is not the thing. It's more about social media, headlines, because I don't think anyone will go into a 6 pages report and just, read it a page by page or step by step. They need just the headlines. They need to see headlines like Germany is sending masks to someone, the EU is paying money to someone, the EU is increasing the funding to the WHO, so that they know that actually EU is doing the most possible job that they can do.
I want to ask one question, all of you. When you follow the social media, what will these numbers and statistics mean to you? About the corona cases, about the deaths, about what does it mean to you? Do you believe in all of this? Do you think it reflects the true situation in every single country?
Actually, I want to believe the numbers on the internet, because from time to time I thought that if it is not true, maybe these numbers are more than the reality. So I want to believe it, actually.
I have a small problem with all of this, because it's so different from country to country, and I believe it's how we collect the numbers of the statistics.
Here we go. There's a new task for the European Union, harmonizing the data collection.
Some misinformation and disinformation claim that the virus was bioweapon, a population control. I would like to know, especially about media, what policy does the EU follow in dealing with misinformation and disinformation issues? Could you explain to us the role of the media diplomacy on this occasion?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is really to the core of the issue. I think, first of all, we need to identify the wrong information or the fake information. And then we have in the EU, we have a couple of departments, both with the member states, but also ourselves in Brussels, that are charged with actually spotting wrong information, harmful information. And then we are in touch with the big social media platforms to make sure that this information then is taken off the web. Quite a lot of these partners have also taken or have closed accounts that we know are being used to channel fake information, wrong information, harmful information. There's another aspect to this. From the side of the institutions and the states, the correct information and the constant feed of information to the media has to take place. But secondly, it is also very important that we have responsible journalists who know their trade, who know what it means to check, double check and triple check information before they put it out to the public. So responsible professional journalism, I think, is very important, and we need to continue providing assistance to any organization that is, as we do in Turkey, we have these academies for journalists where journalists can train, where journalists can get information, journalists can use the modern technology to work and to simulate what they're writing.
I think we started working in the EU to counter disinformation generally about 5 years ago, when we started to see interference in internal elections. And that got off to a slow start. And there's always that question of, if you're monitoring, are you controlling? And, do you want governments monitoring, and is that censorship? One of the things I think the pandemic does is it reinforces the notion that we're all on the same side here. To what extent do you check your sources? And do you, before you forward something on, check if it's been corroborated somewhere else? Do you check for the blue tick every time? I'd be really interested to know to what extent consumers take it seriously.
It's really important, because we should actually, the main question is the consumer, the reader really put effort to reach the real news. So as a suggestion from me, we should put effort to reach the real news instead of the fake news.
I think in the recent 2-3 years, with the amount of misleading information, especially on social media, I developed some kind of instinct to not believe everything and double check, even if it's from a reliable source like The Guardian or even The Independent or BBC. It doesn't matter. You always need to check this information again, see if there is a variable sources speaking about it.
I think it's a very interesting question about who is a trusted source. Is your government, is your own individual government a trusted source, and how do you know?
When it comes to COVID-19, I find it really difficult to believe corrupted regimes like Syria or Egypt or China or Iran and the numbers they gave. I think the space of misleading possibility given to such governments is much higher than the one in Turkey or in the EU or other places.
And my first question to do, dear Ambassador, Mr. Berger. And during and of course, after the COVID-19, what will be the situation of the Erasmus Plus projects? Because the delivering dates were postponed.
We have come to a very important conclusion in the European Union that the Erasmus program or the Erasmus Plus program are our most successful programs. And they are successful, because people like them, people really enjoy doing it, but also in our view, they're very successful because we see them as maybe the most important antidote to what we would call xenophobia or racism or Islamophobia, all the phobias that are out there. Because these programs do one thing: they reduce the fear of what you don't know. So by going out, by being with people of a different background, different color, different nation, different language, you really reduce the fear. There are lots of different scenarios. We have been trying to take care of them in a question and answer list you find on the website of the delegation of the Commission. Can you stay where you are? Will you be paid? Will you continue to be paid? Will you continue paid when you come back? I mean, all these are important questions, and you will find answers to that. Speak with your Erasmus coordinator at your university and see if all that doesn't help, go and try to speak with a national agency that is responsible for Erasmus. All I can tell you is all of us, universities, institutions, national agency, we will do everything we can to make sure that your experience is as positive as possible.
What's the first thing you're gonna do when all this film-alike situation ends?
Well, I don't know what Sonya will do, but I will continue and finalize something that I started 4 years ago, and this has been terribly interrupted now, to visit all the UNESCO sites in Turkey.
Wow.
We have done I think 14 out of the 16 or 16 out of the 18, and there are 2 missing. I hope there will be enough time to do.
We will help you.
Yes, please. So this is very, very top of my list for the day after.
I'm going to run away from my family.
What are your suggestions to be an ambassador for us, actually? Thank you.
My advice is always the same. Do not get distracted. If you get a negative answer, don't take a no for a no. Continue pushing. And I've seen this with the question early on that we discussed about internships. You only stand out if you keep insisting, if you keep calling, if you keep writing letters, if you keep, and nobody gets annoyed about it because we have all been in the same boat. We have all done it ourselves. Pursue it. Don't give up. Don't get distracted. Don't let other people tell you this is not good or nonsense or whatever. It's your life.
And Christian's right. I mean, there's a lot of practical stuff you have to do, but I will tell you, you can learn anything. What we recruit for is not knowledge, but possibility, but potential and characteristic. So what we're looking for is somebody who can show that they're a team player, that they have empathy, that they care about other people, do some volunteering, be able to point to having a personality that looks outward and learns from others, in addition to the skills that your course will give you.
I think have curiosity and an adventure for life and go for it. Go for it. That's it.
So it's 3, 2, half smile, and it's done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.